Sorry about that. We were the mayor and I. We were just talking about the football game on Saturday, and the image that Jeffrey has up on the screen that Tanner created, one of our graphic guys created, is the Hutchinson Field in Farmington, and it looks to me a lot like the gym that we had at the school I went to in high school in Iowa.
Right.
The football field was right next to the gymnasium.
Oh, okay.
And the press area was at the top of the bleachers on the side of the gym that was next to the football field. So they had a double-sided booth.
Oh, okay.
So they had windows looking down onto the gym floor, and they had windows looking back on the football field, and a counter on each side. So depending on what game you were calling, you turn this way or turn this way.
Yeah.
And so when I looked at that slide, it kind of looks like they have a gym or something that's next to the football field, and they have this appendage hanging off the side of the gym, and I think that's the press box area where Joby and Robbie will be. So
that's a trip.
They're heading up. I think they're leaving Friday. They're going to stay in Albuquerque.
Yeah. I
got to remind Joby, don't leave anything in the car.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Take a car you don't like. So
Can you borrow your car?
Yeah. No. Like I said, I think we talked about it. Last time I went up there a couple months ago, I was terrified that my car would be gone because I really like my cars. So.
Yeah. Well, the guy that does our Sunday show on 106.1, he went up to Albuquerque for part of his work or whatever and came out, and his SUV had been broken into and stripped of everything in it.
Yeah, yeah.
And he said the one thing that upset him more than anything else, he had a little $5 trophy that his son had won at a youth event, and they took that, and he says, I don't understand why they took that. He said, that doesn't mean anything to anybody but me.
Right, yeah. But isn't it sad? Like that's what we have to think about, and we joke about it and everything else, but it's sort of not a joke. I mean, it's very serious that when folks go through Albuquerque in that area, pay extra attention and hope your car's there and your stuff.
And your stuff, So I'll remind Joby again today, don't leave anything in the car.
Because you were telling me about the golf team. Which team was that? Do you remember? And they got all their golf stuff taken. I think we talked about that on the radio.
Yeah, it wasn't ours. But
it was up there, and I forgot. Yeah. But then someone gave them all the clubs and everything else. So that would be your kind of deal, though. Make sure everything you need for the next day is in the room.
In the room and not in the...
So if something does happen, you can still call the game. So.
Yeah, I mean, they could always rent a car.
Yes,
to get up there, but they need the stuff to...
They need the stuff.
They can't just sit there and look at it. They got to have, stuff to make it work.
Because that would, double the problem for you, because then not only do you got to deal with that, now you're getting all the calls of, hey, why aren't you on the radio? It is the state champ. Why aren't you on the radio?
Well, he'd have... Get your phone out, Joby, and make sure it's charged up, because that's how we're getting the game on there.
Called. So what a tough trip, though. My goodness. It's, you can almost, that's what Jeff and I were talking about. You can almost get to Dallas in the same time you get to Farmington. It's so far away.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a tough trip, but I'm sure lots of Bulldog fans. I saw there was a bus trying to get together. There's all kinds of stuff.
Royce has Royce Pearson.
Yeah.
You know Royce.
Yeah.
$105.
Right.
And they leave at 4 a.m. Saturday morning.
Yeah.
But a professional is driving.
Right.
Reclining seats, Wi-Fi, bathroom. So if you went by yourself, you'd spend that on gas.
Oh, yeah.
So give Royce a call. He left a message this morning. They had about 20 seats left.
Okay.
And he says you can pay when you get on the bus Saturday morning.
Gotcha.
You don't have to prepay per se. You have to pay. They won't let you on the bus.
You got to pay before you go.
But if with the banks closed for Thanksgiving, or if that's an issue, if you can round it up and have it with you Saturday morning, that's fine. So they're going to leave 4 a.m. They're going to obviously celebrate the win. Hopefully, and then they'll come right back after the game. $105. Call Royce 575-703-1931. And they've got 20 seats left on the fan bus. So,
well, they'll have to hurry back because I'm sure we'll open the one that night. So it'll be if everything goes well.
I am hearing Sunday night.
That would make, because I remember, I think, was it Berlin I think it was Berlin, maybe, when they won. Man, we hustled, and they opened it that night, and it was pretty late. It was fun, but it was pretty late.
Well, I think the reason for that is, I hope I'm not saying anything I can't say. Coach Maupin is going to be in Albuquerque Sunday because the Coaches Association does their Red Green All-Star team selections, and I think he's a part of that process.
Sure.
So they can't open the number one without the coach being there.
No, absolutely not. So, but that is cool the way they're doing that this year. That's really exciting to see how they're going to. I'm super excited to have the game here in Artesia. Artesians should be excited as well. I think you just talked about it. I mean, what a great weekend. You're going to have basketball, football. You're going to have everything. So anybody that's bored that weekend, you're just trying to be bored because there's absolutely no reason. There's, and I even think Light Up Artesia, I mean, it's going to be a weekend. So
I think they're trying to have some of the teams in the Light Up Artesia parade. If they're in town, some of the high school kids for the Red Green All-Star. I mean, there's a lot of work that's going on. I know that as far as when they're going to open up the number one, I know the coaching staff doesn't want to talk about that.
Of course.
Because they want to win the game. Let's win the game. Then we'll talk about some of that other stuff.
Absolutely.
But you know how fans are. We got to know.
Got to know how fast you got to get back. So,
but I think from what I understand that when they do that, first they got to win the game. I think it'll be Sunday. Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening is when that will probably take place.
Well, it should be and hopefully the weather cooperates for everyone. I mean, so we can get up there and everyone can get back, and the game is pleasant because Farmington can be very cold.
That's right.
Hopefully everything cooperates, and it's a great game.
It's a good game.
But you're in it, so it's a great game regardless.
Exactly.
So, it could be snowing 3 foot. Everyone.
I mean, there's only let's see, there's 4 games Saturday, so there's only 8 teams left. Playing a game this weekend, and Artesia's one of them. So
that's what was always cool is each time you progressed that next step in the playoffs, you think, wow, out of all the teams, there's only this many of us left, and so what a cool deal. But obviously, we expect and Artesia, I have good confidence in our boys, so should be fun.
I think they'll do good. So. Well, let's see. City Council did meet last night.
We did, yes. Lots of stuff, including the football game. Of course, there was discussion of that. Because why wouldn't you?
That's
right. That is the thing going on this week. And I think it's Thanksgiving, but that didn't come up near as much as the football game. So, not that I'm trying to take away. Everybody have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Lots of great things last night. We talked a little bit about it, and I think we've got a lot more work to do on it. But last night was the first night we tried to go live. So folks will be able to listen to our meetings. There's a lot of things that we're trying to put in place at one time. And so the city had a Facebook page, but nobody knows how to access it or mess with it or anything else. So we do have a new Facebook page. Not sure how all that's going to work. We're still working on that other piece on how do we get people moved over and get folks to understand there's a new one. So there will be a new one that's kind of like what the county does. So as of right now, it's on the Facebook page. Hopefully we'll make that a little better in the future, near future, to where there's more avenues for us to be able to listen to that, the meeting. Obviously the goal was, that was something we heard a lot for a long time is, hey, we can't make it there, but we want to hear it. Same thing the county does. Now, the county's a little harder because it's at 8 o'clock, on a Tuesday, whereas at least this is at night, but it's still 5 o'clock. Folks are getting off work and everything else, and some people just want to listen to it, not have to be there. So great opportunity for citizens to hopefully listen, hear what's going on in your city, and be up to date. Which is the most important thing to us. Obviously, we put a lot of stuff out on Facebook, but if you can actually hear things as they're happening and being decided and being thought through, we talk about a lot of stuff that's upcoming. So folks that might have concerns on something that we might be talking about later, they would be able to hear it and be able to call us, and positives, negatives, whatever it is, but be able to communicate with us their thoughts as well. So I think it's a really, really important part. I think all cities, counties, states should have this to where citizens whom it directly affects are able to hear it and interact with it.
Sure.
And when I say interact, don't text during the meeting because we're not going to answer. None of that's going to happen. But you have opportunities before and after to interact and make sure your voice is heard, and that's obviously what we want. So great opportunity. It's good to see that moving forward. Like I said, there's kinks to work out, and there's hopefully some more platforms to add to it, and really even make it bigger to where it's easier to be accessible. A couple things we did last night. We did have a zoning board of appeals and then a public hearing. We did 2 last night. The first one was just a variance. There's a house. They were doing some remodeling. There was it's not really an encroachment. They were already encroaching. They're just expanding sideways. So it's not going to encroach anymore on the alley. I think you got to have 20 and they were at 13. So they're not getting any closer to the alley. They just went a little more sideways. And they're fixing up the house. They had quite a few drawings on what it was going to look like, and obviously we want to see improvements. We want to see people do it right and come get the permits. Come if there is an encroachment, let's see how we can work through that. But that was heard last night. That did pass. The council is going to allow them to continue with their remodeling and fix the house the way they wanted to. The other one, it was the lot. It's 507 South 2nd. It's kind of right across from Chaos. There's that empty lot on the other side, the west side.
Well, it's not Chaos anymore.
Yeah, no, darn it. That's what everyone knows. Well, probably not anymore. It's everyone might know that just as well. But right across from Pecos Valley.
There you
Valley
Production.
Forgot the production. Thanks. Yeah. I knew Pecos Valley.
Not that I've been in there.
Yeah. So right across the street there's kind of that blank lot and some extra stuff around it. So what they were looking for is to move that from R2 to C, which is commercial. So they're going to put in some office buildings there. The front part was it's not built yet, but it will be full. So they were going to add that second part. It is for a local company here in town. So that did get approved as well. There were some folks from the neighborhood to make sure, and they didn't have a problem with it. They wanted to make sure as things were being done proper. And we're obviously happy to oblige. The dirt piles have to be watered down, all that kind of stuff. So there's not a lot of dust for the residents, things like that. That was the concern. And obviously Byron and everyone else said at that time, hey, we're on it. If that happens, just let us know. But obviously there's an ordinance that is in place to make sure those kind of things happen. So both of those went through. I think they're...
Well, it'll be interesting to see that lot have something on it. That's been empty for a long time.
For a long time, yeah. So, and that's what I was going to say. It's always wonderful to see things kind of get built and fill in some of these empty spaces we have. Put good buildings on them with good workers, good office space, good whatever is going to go there. And I mean, I know it's going there, but on all these other spots, it's whatever goes there. It's something new and something that might benefit the citizens.
You could always say just north of the county sub office,
or just north of the county sub office.
You could say that.
Yeah, that would be as easy as well. So, but it's always been, every time I've talked about it for the last, I don't know, 10 years, however often we've mentioned. Right across from Chaos. So
yeah.
Got to change that thought process. It's just like Kith and Kin. I still call it the old name sometimes, and I've got to get better at that. So
that's okay.
But I have been better. I got Kith and Kin today. So
that's exactly right.
See, I'm on a roll. 1 for 1.
Well, that'll be good. So it's an office building?
Yep. Yeah. So there'll be an office building. That what we did last night is for that other lot, and that will also be an office building. So they're going to put 2 different buildings there. Real excited to see what that looks. As you said, I mean, it'll be really nice to have that filled in. Because you'll have the counties, you'll have the Pecos Valley, you'll have Pecos Diamond. So you're kind of getting it nice and filled in with some good businesses, some good buildings. And I always like to look at how are you welcoming people and as they leave, how are you? And so I think with those kind of projects, it cleans up your town, obviously, filling in lots. And then as they exit, if they continue to go towards Roswell, you have your First Street project, which is always really nice with the trees and the grass and everything they've been working on there. So things are looking good. Really excited to continue to see the growth. That's obviously what we're really pressing is growth. How do we continue to grow? I mean, we talked about it last week as a commissioner. The new subdivision, that's really good. Even though it's not in the city, it will help the city. We've got a lot of discussion on how do we get some subdivisions going within the city.
Well, there's that one on Ritchie between just west of the Fletsy, right?
Just west of Fletsy.
That's one that's getting ready to
Yeah,
to
and
go.
if you go drive by there, my goodness, they are moving. It's every time I drive by there,
That's an apartment complex.
it's an
right?
apartment complex. And then I think what I've heard is up front. I don't think they have any commercial yet, but they could have commercial up front if
Okay.
they so chose. So that's another project moving.
Let me ask you this: the old Designs Unlimited property, that whole block.
Yes.
Is that still under the?
It's still under the city. We're working really hard on that. In fact, someone asked me that yesterday. We're still working with the state and the environmental department trying to figure out what we have to do to get that thing ready.
Because that's all those pipes or the monitoring.
Yeah, and
things?
they're all gone. If folks have noticed, that was a temporary monitor. Those are gone, and so we're just trying to figure out, okay, what do we have to do to go from here? I thought it sounded very positive on the last meeting I was on, so hopefully we can do something there sooner rather than later. Obviously, that's another spot right in the middle of your town that you would like to fill in with something.
Yeah.
And I think there's great potential there. So, yep, that's another spot where we're going to work hard on to get something.
Well,
there.
then, and this isn't city property, but you got where the old Circle K was. That's an empty
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
I think the sign that went up years ago to tell us what was coming there
Yeah.
by the Burger King has
Yeah.
rotted and gone away, and so I don't know if
Exactly.
that's still.
Yeah.
And Lana was telling me it looked like somebody was going into the old Tasty Freeze /
Yeah.
something something / something something /
Right. Yeah, I did. And in fact, I drove by it the other day and I thought, oh my goodness, there's a new sign. And so I started making calls, and yeah, it looks like there will be I forgot the exact name, but it's taco or
No, the restaurant.
Something. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's another restaurant, and great to have them. I mean, obviously, if it's a full building, it's better than an empty building. So
Yeah.
really glad to see something's going in there. I don't know anything about it or when it opens or anything else, but
Yeah.
but they put a new sign up, so I'm assuming that means something's changing.
Yeah.
And we've got a couple other spots that are empty or things that hopefully we can continue to work on. And that's the thing. I think folks think, oh, well, nothing's happening. There's continuous work. I mean, but if somebody owns it, it's theirs. And so you have to work with them to try to get things done or moved around or thought through, and you have to find something that would be willing to go there. So I do have to say, I mean, we talk about it, filling in those spots, filling in subdivisions, fill in the blank is constantly on the radar and constantly being discussed, whether it be at economic development or the GADC or the council, or it's always, hey, if we can grab this, how does that affect this? Because obviously we've talked about it quite a few times. Our GRT is stayed strong at a little over $2 million, which is really positive for us. Everybody was worried it might sink a little bit, but it sure hasn't. It held strong. Last month was even better at the $3 million. So we've seen some strong GRTs. I think we budgeted really strong this year. It was more realistic to what we expected. Still came in under, but a lot closer than what some thought. So glad to see that. But what that does is help the city continue to make decisions based on real numbers, really what's happening and where we're going. So glad to see those strong numbers coming in, but we've got to continue to grow them, because even though inflation apparently is not a thing, I feel it. I don't know. Everything for me is more expensive, and it is for the city as well.
Yeah.
So we've got to continue to grow that GRT so that we can continue to grow.
Very good. We need to take a break.
Sure.
And